So this would be my server. Yeah, this would be fine. Perfect. Backup. So what is backup? First of all, we need to understand what is backup and why it is needed. So backup is kind of a photocopy, you can say, if I'm just talking about in very layman language, right? So it's a kind of photocopy. Let's say I have a document and I took the photocopy of it with me so that if, let's say, any point of time the document will be lost or maybe it is tampered, right? So in that case, I will be having uh, a backup so that I will be able to, show it at any point of time. So same way, if I'm using any data which is meant for the organization or which is meant for a project manager or which is meant for the whole project team, then in that case, I should make sure that the data should be available for them. Because if let's say I'm not taking the backup, right, and I'm storing it in my, for example, I'm storing it my on premises, or you can take example, I'm storing it on cloud also, right? It might possible that the data which is saved on a physical hardware, there might be some issue with it. There might be some hardware failure with the data, or there might be some network outage in the data center. So in this scenario, the users, the end users, the project team will not be able to access their data. And even if someone, let's say, accidentally deleted the data, permanently deleted the data, so then obviously we can't get it back because it is permanently deleted and we haven't kept the copy of that data. So that is why it is very important. Even if you are a small organization also, in that case, you have to take the copy of your data with you. And in such scenario, in such conditions where actually the data got deleted or might be there is some outage or there might be some hardware failure with your server or the storage, then in that case, you should be able to access the data from any other place, right? So a backup is a copy of your data stored separately from the original. Now, things to note here is, if let's say I have a server, let me draw it. I have a server. Now, obviously, in this server, I'm going to keep my data. For example, this is my file server, right? And I'm keeping all my data, all my folders, all my project data under this or in this server. Now, there could be multiple folders, right? Or it can be your storage also, your NAS as well. Okay. So the data is there inside this server, right? Now, what backup says is whenever you are going to take the backup, it is not recommended that you are going to store the backup in the same server. So it is always recommended that you should store the data into any other device. You are going to store the backup into any other device. Why so? Because see, if I'm going to store the backup in the same server and there is some hardware failure in the server, then obviously I will not be able to get my data back until or unless this server will not be up again. Right? So the data, the backup, whenever you are going to take the backup, right, it should be on a different hardware. It should be on a different device. So that in such scenario, if this server would be down, then also your users will be able to access these folders, or the users will be able to access this data from the different machine. Even the such thing are implemented in your current organization also. Even there is one more thing, that is 3 to 1. I will like come to that point. What are that 3 to 1 strategy? Okay, but initially you have to understand, because it is very basic thing, guys, right? Whenever you are talking about data, or whenever you're talking about backup, so the backup should be stored on a different device, not on the local device. Because if you're going to keep the data on the local, then in that case, if the local would be down, if there is issue with this hardware, then you will not be able to get access of your data until or unless you are not going to sort out the issue which is going on with this hardware. All right. Now, recovery. Now again, the recovery, guys, in such scenario, if the server would be down, if this hardware would be down, and you want to recover the data, then you can recover it from the different machine, because you kept the copy of data into other server also. And even, guys, for if let's say you kept the full backup of this server into this machine, then the full backup can be restored in this server. Or maybe if you're going to place one more new server, then in that case, the backup or the data which was there earlier in this machine, the same data you can get back into your new machine also with the help of the backup. So that is called a recovery process, guys. Now that recovery can be your operating system. I mean, if you want to recover the complete operating system along with C drive, D drive, whatever drives you kept, right? Whatever data you kept, right? It is going to recover the whole state of your server. Or it can also be called as bare metal recovery. Bare metal. See, guys, whatever you are like, let's say bare metal, if you're not able to understand, right? So write down those words also. If let's say during the lecture, I'm just talking about some technical words and you're not able to understand those things, just write it down. Or maybe in the end, I will explain that what that term means actually. Okay. So bare metal is completely restoring the state of the data or of the server, basically. This is bare metal. Now, if let's say I want to recover only C drive, only operating system, I don't want to recover the other drives, D, E, F, whatever drive was there in the server, right? I don't want to recover it. I just want to recover only operating system drive. Then also we can do that. First is bare metal, the complete state. Second would be the C drive, which is your operating system drive. Third would be if you want to recover any other drive like D, E, F, it also can be recovered. Or fourth would be if you want to recover any file or folder. Let's say someone has deleted this folder. Accidentally, they deleted this folder. Now, what do you suggest? Shall I recover the complete state, or shall I just recover only the folder? What do you suggest? How should I go?
You can recover the full whole the folder.
Only folder, correct? Because see, if
Yeah.
I'm going to recover the whole state, it might take 2 hours or more than that. That is full recovery in case I want to get or I want to get the same state into any different server or into any different device. Then we can go with the whole system recovery. But if in case I want to recover, or if in case the data got deleted or the file or folder got deleted, then in that case, it is not recommended that I should recover the whole system state or whole drive also. No, I am just going to recover that particular folder which got deleted. That's it. So this is fourth type. First, bare metal, the whole system state. Second, only the operating system drive. Third, apart from any operating system drive, you have DEF drive. You can recover all those drives. And the fourth would be any file or folder. So now it depends on the scenario. It depends on the situations you are in. So based on the situation, you have to take the action because guys, it should be a prompt action, right? You have to just think and at within seconds you have to take the decision that yes, I am going to do either the system state recovery, I'm going to do um, the operating system recovery or any file or folder recovery. It totally depends on scenario or it totally depends on the situation you are in. So based on that, you have to take the decision. Obviously, do you have to take any approval from your manager or maybe your team leads? So obviously it would be there, but ultimately it is going to be your job and you are only be answerable for that particular, you know, the troubleshooting or basically whatever you're going to take the action, you are going to be responsible for it. So now you have to understand the situation and based on situation, you have to take the prompt action, right? Now, this is backup and recovery. Then why does backup matter? Why we needed a backup? First of all, guys, in case of hardware failure, even I explained all these things, but still, let's understand it. Hardware failure, hard drive crash, server fails, physical damage destroys data permanently. Obviously, if any issue with the hard disk, if any issue with the motherboard, right, then obviously we will not be able to get the data back until or unless we are not going to resolve the issue. And in such cases, it might take time because most of the part servers we have to get it from the vendor, right? And that vendor is going to get it maybe in 10 days or 20 days. So in such cases, we can't wait for it, right? So that is why we should have the backup, the copy of data with us so that we will not land into the situation where we will not be able to available or get available our data for our customers or for our users. Then cyber attack, guys. If let's say someone has attacked your data or you haven't kept your data encrypted as well as you haven't kept your data in your backup, or maybe you have heard about recently ransomware, right? Where actually the data got encrypted and the attacker asked the customer to pay such amount and then only he is going to decrypt the data. But if let's say I'm going to have the backup of my data, then in that case, until unless it is not critical, guys, right, we will be able to get our data back and we can resume our work without any hamper or without any issues. So in such scenario also, the backup matters. Then human error. If someone has accidentally deleted the data or overwriting the critical file where actually it causes the data loss, then also we should have backup in place and we can recover at any point of time. Then natural disaster, which is in case of flood, fire, or power. For example, in any data center, right, there is power outage, network outage, or flood into that area. There is a flood into that area. So in such scenario as well, if you are not going to have backup in place, so you will not be able to get your data back. Then business continuity, which is without recovery plans, downtime can cost thousands of dollars per minute. As I mentioned, see guys, if I'm talking about any of the data and I'm managing customers' data, then in that case, customer is going to put penalty on me if there would be any outage on the servers or on the storage. Right? Then many industrial industries like healthcare, finances, and then energy sector also legally require data retention and recovery plans. Guys, see now, even whenever you are going to get a new project, or maybe you are getting the RFP, request for proposal from your customer, then there would be a highlighted point that they will be needing backup, they will be needing recovery plans, they will be needing disaster recovery. Maybe if you're already working for any of the customer, you can read their document. Definitely, you're going to get a point where actually they have mentioned about backup and backup plans. Or for the new projects also, right? You have to sign or you have to give the solution that what and all tools you are going to use for your backup and recovery. You have to mention everything. Then only you are going to win that project. Because ultimately, if you are not fulfilling their requirements, obviously you will not be able to win that project, right? So it is, I don't know about others, like, so it is my job in my current company, if I'm getting any new project, right? Or if we are bidding any project, then obviously I have to fulfill their requirement. I have to give my points over there where actually whatever the requirements are asked for the cyber security or for the system administration part or for the cloud part. So whatever they have mentioned, so it is my job to fulfill all those requirements and to answer all those queries. So if they are going to be satisfied or if they would be agreed on that point, then only our company are going to get that project. So this is basically the whole life cycle of a project. Maybe we'll be talking about all these things in a deep when we are going to start our regular classes. So for now, we'll strict with the with the backup only. All right. So these are the points where actually I have to take the backup, and then why backup matters. So these are such points which I have to take care and which are basically important during any of the project execution for particular data or the whole data actually, right? Then we have types of backup. Most of you have heard about full backup, incremental backup, and differential backup. We will see it practically also, don't worry. For now, just we are covering theoretically. And guys, see in the regular classes also, first of all, we are going to clear our concept, right? Let's say 10 to 15 minutes, we are going to read our theory or PPTs. And after that, we are going to implement it practically. So this is going to be my approach during the whole module. All right, full backup. Copies all data every time, the most complete but slowest and most storage option, heavy option. Why so? Because see, every time if I'm going to take the full backup, then it is going to occupy my storage. Why? For example, guys, my data was of 30 GB, just for example, okay, on this server, right? And I'm taking the backup on this machine. So if I'm going to take the backup on Monday, for example, I'm talking about Monday as of now. So Monday, I took the complete backup, the full backup, Monday, right? So it is going to store the whole 30 GB data into this machine. Whole 30 GB storage it is going to occupy in this machine. And at the same time, let me zoom it, okay? At the same time, if I'm taking again the full backup and on Tuesday, right? The data was there 40 GB, for example, or 10 GB. The change of the data would be 10 GB. Then on Tuesday, it will again take the backup of this 30 GB, this 30 GB as well as this 10 GB, and ultimately again it is going to occupy the storage 40 GB. 30 GB backup I already have, which I took on Monday. Then why to keep the backup again of 30 GB? Getting my point? If I already have the backup of Monday, it is stored in the server. So why again the full backup is needed, because ultimately 30 plus 40, 70 GB it will occupy. I'm not using my storage efficiently. That means, so full backup is not recommended. Initially, very first time, guys, very first time, initially, when I'm just starting the backup, or when I'm configuring the backup very first time, then initially I should take the full backup. I mean, on Monday, I can take the full backup. I can take the full backup. And then from Tuesday, rather than taking the full backup, I'm going to configure incremental backup, guys. Just unmute yourself if if you're not able to understand it, okay? Incremental backup. Now, what does this incremental backup means? So if I'm configuring incremental backup, then on Tuesday, it is just going to take the backup of the data which was changed from the last backup, which means on Tuesday, it is just going to take the storage of 10 GB only, because 30 GB already I took on Monday, right? And now on Tuesday, it will only going to store the data, or it is going to only occupy the storage of 10 GB only, because 10 GB data was changed from the last backup. And now again, on Wednesday, someone, let's say again, the data got changed and 15 GB data was generated on Tuesday. Oh, sorry, on Wednesday, right? Then guys, on Wednesday, it is just going to take the storage of 15 GB only. 15 GB. So this is very important, right? That wherever you're keeping your data, or wherever you're keeping your backups, right? You should use the storage efficiently, guys, because every time if I'm going to take the full backup, see, on Monday, it will occupy 30 GB. Then on Tuesday, it will occupy 30 plus 10, 40 GB. And then on Wednesday, it will occupy 30 plus 10 plus 15, 55 GB again storage it is going to occupy. If you have that much storage available, if your management okay with it, then you can go with the full backup. I don't have any issue, right? But where you are giving a professional, basically, um, options, or basically, if I'm talking about an industry scenario, real-time industry scenario, then in most of the cases, 90% cases, guys, you are going to go with the incremental backup. Where they are okay with it, because ultimately customer have to pay, right? Customer is going to pay for it, for the storage and all. If they are okay, then we can go ahead with the full backup as well. All right. Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
These are my question. The first question is that is the process automated in wherein like the backup take place regularly without like being done manually? That's one. The second
Yeah.
question is it backup done on prem or is it done in the cloud wherein you have like your VM machine wherein you can do a VM snapshot that can keep
Okay.
inform at the same time able to store the information on your disks,
Mm-hmm.
or how is the process done? That's the second question. Then why is the
Okay.
variation? What's the variation 30 GB, 10 GB? Is it because at a particular day like Monday you have a huge maybe customers is influx, or maybe during the course of the week there's drop? So those are the questions. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. So Daniel, answer to your first question, right? Backup schedule can be configured. No need to do it manually. Okay, you can define the time that on daily basis at 9 o'clock, 9 p.m., 9 a.m., whatever like time you want to define. You want to take a weekly backup, you want to take a daily backup, right? You want to take backup twice a day or thrice a day, right? That is in your hand. No need to take the backups manually. You can define a schedule and the job will run automatically based on the schedule you have defined. And then it will going to take backup of your or it is going to run the backup job and the backup would be stored on your location wherever you have defined. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now the second, where you are going to store it. Now it totally depends. Again, see, if I'm talking about, see, I comes from a very, I'm working on a very basically very critical critical customers basically, right? So for those customers, they are not relying on the cloud. I'm from energy sector, right? So they are not relying on the um, cloud. So what they want, whatever backups would be there, whatever data would be there, they are going to keep it in their data center only. They are going to keep it in their devices only. They are going to bear the cost. If let's say they want three servers in three different servers, they are going to take the backup. So ultimately that is their decision. And if they are okay with it, so if I'm talking about in rupees, the project is around of 40,000 crores, right? So obviously, if the customer is paying that much amount, so they can bear the cost and they can go with the on-prem solution itself. Talking about specifically about my organization as well as my previous organization, my previous was in I was in the health department, right? So health that is dealing with the patients' data, right? So again, they purely mentioned that they don't want to go with the cloud solution. They are going to keep the data inside their data center. Now, the second, adding into it, if you want to register your on-premises server, which even I'm going to show you tomorrow, okay? You want to register your on-premises server to the cloud, and you want the data which is there in your server, it the data should the backup should be there in the cloud itself directly, so you can do it and you can define the schedule for it also, and the data is going to be stored or the backup is going to be stored in your cloud provider, whether it would be Azure, it would be AWS, or whatever vendor you are going with. So you can select accordingly.
Sorry, Sandeep, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
As you mentioned that company, for example, the hardware failure of
Yeah.
server,
Hmm.
and company want to retrieve whole data, so that's going to be
Huh.
cost huge, right? And if company decided, okay, I just want to retrieve only few folders or just the important files, that's all, right? So that's the that's the so that thing will save the cost and like not whole backup, right?
Correct. Obviously, it is going to save your time also, right?
And
So
time, yeah,
rather than
absolutely.
time is more important rather than cost, right? So cost somewhere customer will bear it, or maybe as a provider I can bear it. Ultimately, I have to make sure that data should be available for the end user. We are generating electricity. So can you basically if let's say you're already in your at your home, right? And might be there is something wrong with your electricity and it's not coming from last 2 hours or 3 hours. So can you bear it as an end user? Basically, I'm talking about. You're going to place thousands of complaints about electricity that you're not getting electricity in your home, right? So that is
Right.
what you have to, take the decision, uh, and you have to make the things available promptly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For what my colleague just said, I just want to ask another question relating to that.
Hmm?
Because when you're talking about cost, yeah, I didn't see you mention anything like in terms of protection, data protection, because you mentioned something like about healthcare sector.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's
Yeah.
say, for example, I'm in another geographical region, and I'm
Hmm.
working with companies who are my vendors are all European based. So it means that I have to use, or maybe an American base. I have to use certain governance policies, like more of like HAPA, GDPR, or something like that. I have to comply with those laws, regulations.
Exactly.
Now,
Exactly.
now, now, this is my question to you and for the entire audience. If the cost we are talking about, the cost can be huge if there's a data breach and all those things. Why
Hmm.
not have it on the cloud where you have a vendor that is protecting it, or like let's say or Azure or maybe AWS? They are now being the sole provider of the cloud storage, and they are there, and you just focus on maybe just or maybe like your local dealing with your vendor rather than the data center, rather than dealing with security risks and breaches and all those one third party risks and all those influences. That's just my question to you. So,
Got it.
but if the organization is a military organization, like more example, the Indian government or the Australian government or the US government, that is quite
Hmm.
understandable. You can say, okay,
Correct.
we don't want our data to be it's like exposed to, I don't want my data, the Indian military
Exactly.
data to be sitting in America. No. But if it
Correct.
has to do with small businesses and stuff like that, why should I take all those risks rather than using the cloud services that would just deal with those ones, and I just focus on my business aspect? So that's just my just to address on the question my colleague asked. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I got your point. I got your point. See, if I'm talking about cloud, so you specifically mentioned about cloud, right? So in cloud, I have one option actually. There is multiple storage types that can be configured in the cloud. Okay, so might be it would be more to digest for today. Okay, but just adding to your questions, just I'm answering it, right? So there are multiple option in the cloud, which is storage types are LRS. Maybe I can give you the homework. You can just go with this things, go with this topics, and you will get to know that what I'm talking about, right? So LRS, that is local redundant storage. Then we have ZRS, zone redundant storage. Then we have GRS, geo redundant storage. Now, what does it mean? I will just explain GRS only. Rest you can go through with it, or maybe in our Azure topic, right? I'll be covering all the things, right? So GRS is geo redundant storage. So what does it mean? If I'm keeping, for example, my primary region is US, right? And the whole primary region is down. The complete, I'm just thinking hypothetically, the whole primary region is down. Then in case of GRS, I have the option that my data would be accessed from any other geographic region. It can be any country. That totally depends on the vendor, like whatever you're taking the vendor, like services you're taking the vendor, for example, is you're taking. Then in that case, if you are keeping your primary region as US, then it might possible the uh, secondary region would be your East US or West US or whatever the nearest location would be to your primary location. The data would be replicated. The three copies of data would be replicated to that particular region. So that is the option available in the cloud, right? Rest, if you're talking about on premises, then obviously in on premises, you are going to have all the data in your on-prem data center only. For that, you will be needing multiple devices, or in on-premises, if you have heard about RAID 1, RAID 0, RAID 5, right? So mostly you are going to keep your data under RAID 5, so that if there would be any hardware failure, if there would be any disk failure, you are just going to insert a new disk inside the server, and then whatever the data would be there into that faulty disk, it would be written down into the new disk also.
So I have a question, sir.
Yeah, just let me ask Daniel, is it okay for you? Are you able to get the point,
Yeah, I
Daniel?
get the point. So in essence you are saying like you have like if there is a failure on prem, you have like you have a disk, you can record the backup, you can store the backup, but you didn't mention the encryption part of it, security breaches, because data is not
Daniel,
just what we're
see,
talking about,
yeah,
but
yeah, it
also
would be
about
there.
encryption.
Yeah, see, I will come to that part because see, it is very
Thank
basic
you.
things, right? So
All
I'm
right, then
not
thank you.
covering
Yeah,
all
yeah, then
those
thank
high
you,
stuff.
thank you, thank you.
Yeah,
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 thank
yeah. I will cover that. Don't worry about it. BitLocker would be there, the encryption would be there. Yeah. So I don't want to cover it for today, right? Because as I mentioned, some of the teammates are new here. So I don't want to get them confused onto the stuff. Okay. Yes,
you.
go
S-
ahead,
Thank you.
please. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So my question was regarding to those backup that you told us before.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that predominantly the backup server, as far as my understanding research goes, I think heavily Linux dominates. The backup servers, the data is usually backed up on Linux operating systems. It's more
Uh,
relied by a lot of, as far as my research goes, sir. Correct me if I'm wrong somewhere. But the thing is that if we come across a company where we are working and they have they're heavily indulging into Linux backup servers, and
mm-hmm,
they also have Windows servers. It's a hybrid
mm-hmm,
combination.
mm-hmm,
Now, God forbid, if there's something that they want us to back up all the data, like right now what you've told us.
mm-hmm,
Now, where should we back up for the window data, and also if we have Citrix also, because they are also hybrid environments
mm-hmm,
where they also use Citrix
mm-hmm,
workplace stations, for load balancers and all that thing. They have a similar kind of thing with like Windows, as you're aware. Now the thing is that now if we are coming across a company who uses Linux, who uses
mm-hmm,
Citrix, who uses Windows now, so
mm-hmm.
how would you explain us of, just also on a superficial level that we understand and the guest students, where do we back up those datas? Or do we go Linux wise for Linux, Citrix for Citrix, and Windows for Windows? Should we go like that? Or Windows is a big daddy? It'll accept
Correct,
everyone. How
correct.
is it, sir?
So, see, I'm going to segregate it based on their operating systems so that at any point of time, there would be any failure with the Linux machine. I will go to that Linux location and I will
Mhm.
recover the data from that particular location of that particular machine. So, segregation would be there. I'm not going to keep or not going to dump all the backup into one folder only. No,
Mhm.
I'm going to keep the host wise data into the host into the storage so that at any point of time I know that yeah, PC1 is down and I want to recover the whole PC1 data. So I will go to the location and I'll select the PC1 folder and I'll recover it. So segregation would be there. I will segregate it based on their operating system, based on their host names. So if I'm talking
Mhm.
about my example in my current organization, so what we are doing, so we do have the Mac OS, we do have the thin clients basically. Thin client is also a Linux-based operating system, right? So what
Mhm.
we are doing in that scenario, we are just creating the folder structure based on the host names of the machine and we are
Mhm.
dumping the backup into those folders itself onto the host names.
So it will be the same platform. If it's Linux, it will be segregated under Linux. It will not be under
Exactly.
Windows.
Correct.
Oh,
Obviously, it will make my engineer maybe confused that they will not be able to get the point where actually the data is stored, right? So what I'll do, I'll segregate it and I'll create a folder structure and I will let my engineer know that yes, you have to take this decision and you have to restore it at any point of time if you want to.
And
okay.
also,
So because
Sandeep, I
our,
mean,
Mhm.
if you're taking the backup of a Linux machine to a Windows, how it's gonna work? Because the file system is different, right? I mean, you cannot
Okay. Yeah, Rahul.
like,
Okay. In that case, see, first of all, if you're talking about Linux environment, so in that case, the Windows Server Backup internal option, it is not feasible. It is not going to stop. It is not going to, it is not compatible with the Linux operating system. First of all,
yep,
okay.
yep.
Second, I am going to use third-party tool in such cases. In my
Mhm.
environment, we are using Veeam backup, right? So Veeam can support Linux, Mac, as well as your Windows
Citrix, sir.
So it's gonna
or
be
Citrix as well. Yes, even VMware also, even Hyper-V also. Yeah,
Mhm.
so it's like predominantly gonna be some third-party tool kind of
exactly,
backup, like for example, Veeam and all. Okay,
exactly,
good knowledge.
exactly.
Thanks.
And even during our regular classes, that is what I mentioned. Even making my lab for the Veeam backup also. So maybe one session I'll give you on Veeam also. Okay, which is not part of our course, but definitely just a add-on for you.
So then the PowerShell core, which is a platform, which is a hybrid platform, as you are aware, it's a PowerShell core. It goes on all three, Apple,
Yes, yes,
Linux,
yes.
as well as thing.
Correct,
So
correct.
my next question would be, if that is the case with PowerShell, which is obviously a Microsoft platform, but
Hmm.
then my question would be that, as the gentleman just said, obviously the infrastructure behind Linux is on a different tangent.
Hmm.
Then God forbid, so all three work on the same thing. Incremental, what do you say, full backup goes on the same theory, or
Yes,
Linux on
same
they
theory,
go on
same
different.
theory, same theory. Only the file extension would be different, right? Rest everything is going to remain same.
But the RAID 5 is only for Windows, right? The RAID 5
Ah,
concept, backup
that
the
is for
RAID 5.
Windows. Yeah, yeah, that is for
Oh,
Windows only. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, fine. Thank you,
Because
sir.
you will be needing a RAID card for it, right? And then you're going to take it. Chalo, anyways, for now, let's get back to the topic, guys, right? So we talked about full backup. So full backup is slow. Why? Because every time you're taking the backup, full backup, or every time you're taking the backup of the whole data, so which is not recommended, right? Then storage would be high. As I mentioned, it is going to occupy a huge amount of storage from your storage devices, okay, which is also not recommended. And recovery fastest, right? Recovery you can get your data uh, very soon, basically. Okay. Then incremental copies only data changed since the last backup. It can be full or it incremental. This is what I mentioned, guys, in our diagram, that it is just going to take the backup of the data which is changed or which is created since the last backup. Since the last backup. Okay. This is incremental. Then you have differential backup. Differential backup is a backup, or it is going to store the backup of your data which is changed from last full backup. Okay. Copies of all data changed since last full backup. A middle ground between full and incremental. It can be a middle ground between full and incremental, but ultimately it is just going to check the last full backup. I'm not talking about incremental, guys, right? It will check the last full backup. So after the last full backup, whatever the changes has been made, it is going to take the backup of those changes. And incremental, whenever a new data is generating, it is just going to take the backup of that new generated data. And in differential, the data generated since last full backup, it is going to store the copy of those data only. This is differential backup. Now, any one of you have any confusion regarding these three type of backups that can be configured?
I do have one quick question. So for the
Yeah, go ahead.
differential backup, correct me
Yeah,
if I'm wrong, Sandeep.
yeah,
So
go ahead,
let's
please.
say
Yeah.
if the full backup was taken on, let's say 1st of June,
Mm-hmm.
so the system will not take any further backup because after 1st of June there was no full backup taken. So system will refuse taking the backup
No,
because
it will,
because
it
like
will,
there is.
it will take first, it will assume 1st June as a full backup only. It will not deny or it will not stop taking the backups.
So if it is taking a backup after 1st of June, so then it
Mm.
will be considered as the incremental backup, right? Because
Yeah,
the data is getting
exactly.
incremented.
Exactly. That is why you can see here a middle ground between full and incremental, right? If there would be multiple full backups, right? Let's say 1st June also I'll took the full backup, 2nd June also I took the full backup, then it will assume 2nd June as a full backup and it will going to store the changes of the data which was generated on 2nd June. Got it?
But let's say if like there was no full backup on 2nd June,
Hmm.
so the differential backup will keep the
Nobody.
backup
See,
point
as I
of like
mentioned
first.
initially, always you are going to take the full backup very first time.
Yeah.
So always it would be there. This is basically you can say industry need actually, that always you should take the full backup first. And later on, you can play with either incremental or differential. Got it?
All right. Okay. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Any doubt? Vinay?
Yeah, I have a question in here, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, normally in the company we can take the first time full backup.
Correct.
Then every day we can configure incremental backup, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I don't know about the differential backup. What is the usage when we can use the differential backup in the most company? Yeah.
I got your point. Yeah. So differential backup is basically, see, it is going to take it is going to assume the full backup first of all. So it is not going to assume incremental backup, right? It will not going to um, take the changes, or it is not going to assume the incremental backup or the changes that has been made during the incremental backup. It will not assume it. It is just going to assume the full backup only. So why so? Because the speed would be, even you can see the speed would be medium in this case, and in this case the speed would be fastest. Why is fastest? Because it is keeping the backup of the changes that has been made. That's it. Rest, in case of medium, first of all it is going to check the full backup, the last full backup. Now the use cases can be in such, I haven't seen that we are going with the differential backup, right? It totally depends, again, the usage, it totally depends on the requirement of the customer, that how they want to go with. Mostly 99% cases, you will go with the full and incremental backup. 99% cases. Because differential, if you're comparing it with incremental, it is going to take time. Because first of all, it is going to check the full backup, then that full backup was done or not. Might be there was some issue with the full backup, or might be some issue with the file where you kept the full backup. Then in that case, it is first of all going to check full, and then it is going to take the differential. Then it is going to take the backup of the changes. So in industries, if I'm specifically talking about the industries or the companies, mostly you are going to see these two options only. It totally depends on the requirement. It totally depends whether the company are going to, go with the differential backup or not. But the use cases, the most of the use cases, you are going to see full and incremental. You don't need to worry about this differential backup.
Yes, yes, because of this, because it doesn't have too much usage, this differential
Exactly.
backup. That's why, yeah.
Exactly.
Only
Exactly.
only we need full backup and incremental backup, yeah.
Correct.
I
Correct.
think I think the usage of differential backup is, for example, we have full backup, for example, the last month, yeah. But after that, we don't have incremental backup, maybe for 20 days or maybe for 15 days, yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
On this case, we want to check the full backup and also the new data, okay, that's created. We use differential backup. Then we can configure incremental backup after differential backup. I think so.
But as far as I know, like, or whatever we are implementing, so during the schedule or during the job I'm going to create for the backups, right? So at that point of itself, I'm going to define whether I want to go with the differential, or I want to go with the incremental, right? And I'm not going to make any changes into it. So that
Okay.
is
So
initially you have to define that whether you want to go with full backup, you want to go with the incremental, or you want to go with the differential.
Yep. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. Yeah, I got
yeah,
it.
so
Thank
yeah,
you.
I have a question, sir.
yeah.
On weekends, sir, normally a lot of system engineers, admins during the weekends they do the patch up of the servers. At
Patches,
that
yes.
time, what are they heavily looking into? They're doing more incremental or they're doing differential, sir, at that time, along with those patches that they're trying to make get up with the latest Microsoft's server updates
You,
which they send.
you are mixing two topics here, right? See, patches. something different, right? So for
So,
patches, obviously you don't need to worry about that backup or everything. First thing, right?
okay.
Because nowadays you're deploying the patches through Intune, through cloud. That's it. No need to worry about all those stuff.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you are mixing these two topics. Now the question is, what was your first point? What you mentioned?
So, I mean, when they're doing the server updates,
Hmm.
then because those high-end senior engineers, I mean, I was the admin guy, but those
Hmm.
high-end system engineers, they always, a few of them, they had the high priority, level
Okay.
4, 6 batches. They used to
Okay,
do the server backup and server maintenance.
I
At
got
that
it.
moment of time, what is just as on a superficial level, what are their core duties? What are they doing? Because I, as an admin, I had no clue, and obviously, I
Okay.
didn't have that level.
Okay, I'll come to that part also, but that is later on. But still, okay, let me explain it. See, guys, if I'm talking about file servers, right? Where actually I have kept my data backup or my storage or my data, right? So in that case, I'm going to configure the failover cluster, which is called high availability of the file server or high availability of my
Mhm.
storage. So what it will do, so rather than patching all the servers in once, I am going to patch the passive node first, which is not an active node. It is going to be a passive. So I will patch my passive node first, and then after patching the passive, I will make that passive as an active node, and the earlier, which was the active node, it will automatically become as passive, and then I will start patching my passive node also. So in that case,
Mhm.
both the file servers would be updated with the latest patches of the Microsoft.
Okay,
That
sir.
is called cluster, failover cluster actually. Obviously, we
Mhm.
are going to have that topic in our MCSA classes, right? I will cover that, how it can be made and how we can make ensure that if my first file server would be down, then automatically the role should be switched to the second node. Okay, this is called
Oh,
actually high availability. Yeah,
okay. That means predominantly during those weekend maintenance servers, they're usually hovering around those file server clusters.
correct.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Now, guys, if you are implementing the backup, then it is always recommended that you should follow the 3-to-1 backup strategy. What does three means here? You should take 3 copies of the data. Even this thing I already mentioned about in cloud, right? That in cloud, the 3 copy of the data would be stored into 3 different locations or into 3 different hardware. If I'm talking about LRS, which is local redundant storage, then the 3 copy of the data would be there in the same data center, but into 3 different storage. Now for on-prem also, I should design my storage or I should design my architecture of my infra in such a way that my data should be available into 3 different devices. Okay, keep 3 total copies of your data, the original plus 2 backups. If one fails, you still have 2 more. Okay, now as per my diagram, for example, I'm keeping this server is down, right? Hardware failure, and I'm keeping my data into this server. And talking about the situation, if the same server is down also, where I kept my backup, then the document says, or the real scenario says, that you should have 2 more devices where you are going to keep the copy of your data. Obviously, the cost will vary, guys, because you're going to have a different hardware, right? You will be needing the place to mount these servers, right? The cost will affect the whole project. But the practice says, the real scenario says we should go with this approach. All right. Then two different media, right? Along with it, store backup on two different types of media. That can be external hard drive or it can be a cloud, right? You can store it on any external disk also, which is dedicated for the backups only. We used to have those USB drives for our project. Every project is going to have around 32 TB of the USB drives actually, 32 TB. And we used to keep the data onto those USB sticks as well.
So NAS.
NAS also can be there, but along with it, yes, you can take NAS also in that scenario, or you can take like example of the USB external hard disk also,
Okay, sir.
USB drives also. All right,
Okay.
So what are tape drives, sir?
tape drive also you can take. Ultimately, they are asking you to keep the data into two different media.
But for tape drives, you require a special hardware, sir?
Yeah, obviously, you will be needing the server that is going to be compatible with it, right?
How
Okay.
many tape drives to use, sir?
That depends on the hardware that how many tape drives it can support. Okay. Or even during the project also, if let's say you're getting any new project, so at that point of that time you are going to do all these R&Ds. Based on that, you are going to make a purchase order for the vendor.
Sir, is it outdated or still in fashion, sir?
In our cases, we are not using it. Right. So if other any
Okay.
organizations or if any other, you know, companies are using it, that I'm not aware of. But as far as I know, right? So mostly now the companies are either going to the cloud or they are keeping the data into their own basically USB drives or USB external hard disk. So over there they're keeping the data. Okay. Then one would be the off-site location, guys. As I gave you the example of cloud, GRS, geo redundant storage, so that if the whole region would be down, then also you should have a backup in place so that you can store or you can recover the data from any other location. Okay, so you can see keep at least one copy off site, either it can be a cloud or it can be a remote location. Protects again local disaster like fire or flooding. Guys, this thing we are not doing, but yes, these two strategy we are using it because obviously a customer is going to have their own site and they are going to keep the data or they are going to all the storage or hardware into their site only, so they are not keeping it to any other location. So that is why we are going with this approach that we are keeping the data into two different medias actually.
So hypothetical situation. So if a
Yes.
server, a bare metal server, has been hacked with
Hmm.
ransomware or malware, obviously
Hmm.
it is isolated, quarantine actually from the network IP address segmentation
Correct.
and everything. It's quarantine. I get that
Correct.
point, sir. But my next question would be, so obviously we just cannot leave outside and just throw it outside in the middle of the road.
Correct.
So what we have to actually do, sir, because some of the companies, as my experiences goes, I've seen they use third party vendor software to do the main deletion of everything wiped out from the SSD, whatever the logical state drive or whatever, to be wiped out. Would there be any number one high performance third party software tools that we as engineers, admins, or Intune guys you would highly recommend that it's a very good third party vendor software in today's time, sir, for
uh,
total
I'll
remedial?
recommend to go with Veeam or Acronis.
Sorry, sir. Veeam,
Veeam or Acronis.
VEEM.
VEEAM
Yeah, well, yes.
and then Acronis, A C R
Ace,
O N I
and
S.
this is highly recommended in today's time.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Highly recommended in the sense because we are using it. And if we are using it, we are a big organization, to be very honest, right? So if we are
yes, sir.
using it, then obviously
It's safe.
everyone, yeah, it's safe. Correct.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Acronis. So this tool can protect you as well as it can take the backup either on your cloud or on your on premises, and along with it is going to encrypt your data. Same way you have Veeam backup. So Veeam is the
Sir,
market leader. Yes.
sir, we are using UR backup in our organization. Are you aware of this, sir?
No. I'm aware of like Acronis
Okay,
and
sir.
then Veeam and then CPM and then Common Vault. So on these four tools I have worked so far. But
Okay.
obviously, see, concept is going to remain same, right? If you are able to work on
Hmm.
any one of that tool, you will be able to work on other also. Only the nomenclature would be different. Ultimately, the concept, the backend, right? All everything is going to be remain same. Only the console will be changed. Okay.
So you
Okay,
told us
sir.
as we deep dive, you will give us a little bit more enlightenment on the VM structure, so for the backup, so on a superficial level.
Yeah, I'll give you the idea on the Veeam backup actually.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, how it is going to work and how you're going to get a free trial of it for 30 days, and then how you can configure the schedule, how you can recover the file folder, the complete bare metal encryption. So everything I'll be covering in this
Oh,
class. Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Okay, so now where is that one here? Oh, I think I closed it. Yeah, okay. This is 3-to-1 strategy, guys, right? Now it totally depends on your company, it totally depends on your organization, that how they are going to implement it. But this is basically the process that we should follow whenever we are working in any of the new project or any of the ongoing projects, right? Then might be you have heard of RTO, recovery time objective, and RPO, recovery point objective. So what is recovery time? The maximum acceptable time your system can be down after a failure. See, whenever there would be any failure, right, then you can get some bandwidth. That yes, if any of the system is down for 1 hour, then customer is not going to shout on you. They'll be okay with it. But even after that, if the system is down, then in that case, they will start putting penalty on you. Okay, so that you have to measure. So obviously it is not in our hand, guys, right? It totally depends on the scenario. It totally depends on the situation. Okay, if let's say the situation, there is a disaster, right? Natural disaster, so obviously we can't do anything in it, and even no one can do anything on it. Okay, so in such scenario we can get some excuse. But if there is no such conditions, right, but still the system is down, then yes, obviously we are going to be answerable. We are going to we should have some measures. But if you have such scenarios implemented, such strategy you have already implemented, then in that case you will not going to be in a condition where actually you are going to be answerable to the customer. That is why during the planning itself, you have to make your foolproof plan, that in case of outages, in case of any of the conditions, you will be able to get your data back. All right. So even you can say, in other words, how long can we afford to be offline, right? Like 4 hours means the system must be restored within 4 hours of failure. So this you're going to get from the customer, that for how long customer can bear the downtime or failure basically, right? Then you have recovery point objective, the maximum acceptable. See guys, if let's say there is such scenario where actually your data is down, your site is down, or basically your server is down, then what is going to be your recovery time? How long you are going to take you're going to take to recover the data? And again, this thing you're only going to be, or you're going to only measure based on the experience, or based on the real experience you have gained in your career. If you're a fresher, then obviously you can't straight away tell them that yes, I will be able to recover in 2 hours. If you already spent the time in the organization, you have seen such scenarios, then only, or if you have already prepared the document. See, guys, that is why even you have to make your document strong. Let's say there is any site failure, or there is any hardware failure, right? Then what you did, how long it took to recover the data. So everything should be documented, right? Based on that, you can give the solution to your customer that, hey, in such scenario, if something would be down, then I'll take 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. Now, this thing only depends on your experience. All right.
Documentation based on CIS standards, right? So Central Internet Security Standards.
Yeah, that also you can do. But again, if let's say you're already working in such in project, right? You have already faced such type of scenario, then you can make your own document also for others' reference,
So
right?
to stand out in the company, I appreciate your answer, but to stand
Hmm.
out in the company, obviously, we all have to prove our mettle in the company wherever we are working. So to
Hmm.
stand out that we are one of the pink diamonds in the company, um, and to be an asset, should we align our documentation more in terms of CIS or in terms of more on CISA standard or in terms of ISO 27001 standard, or what would you suggest?
See, it totally depends on the sector you are working, right? So if let's say you're working in any health sector, then obviously, or you're working in any company, so you have to ensure the GDPR, right? Like
Okay,
that, if I'm working in any energy sector, then obviously I have to follow ISO 27001.
okay.
Okay,
The
so it
Microsoft sector,
depends.
sir?
Microsoft in the sense, Microsoft is a
Microsoft.
service provider, right? They're
No,
service provider. Huh.
the companies where are heavily involved only in Microsoft products, no other vendor. Then,
I'm not talking about products. I'm talking about here sector, that in which
okay, sectors.
sector you are
Okay, I got the
working.
point, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sectors, I got it, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. Now, where to store the backups? Store backup can be stored on premises, which is local, which is I have already told you that in our case, we are storing 100% of our data, customer data, basically in the on premises. Wherever we are talking about SharePoint, all that is our internal matter, right? That is our company's matter. In that case, they will be they are using the cloud solutions, right? But for the customers, we are keeping data in their local data center only, right? Then you have cloud storage. Totally, you can keep the data on cloud. Even if we have the on-premises server, guys, on-premises server also you have, right? So those on-premises server also can be registered with the cloud vendor, and the data backup going to be stored in the cloud. I'll show you that practical tomorrow, okay? How it can be registered. Today we'll talk about the on-premises only. Okay.
Sorry, Sandeep, so quick
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
On premises will be like you mentioned fast access, full control, no internet needed. It's gonna be
Hmm.
one hardware to another hardware, like one
Correct.
server to
Correct.
another directly.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
So no cloud, right?
As per this diagram, yes, no cloud.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Everything is going to be on a single location.
Bare metal to bare metal,
Yeah. You can assume it such a way.
Thank
Yes.
you.
and it should be under the same network, or it can be
No,
also.
no, it can be a different network also. If it is reachable, if the routing is there, then definitely it can be on a different network also. No problem.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Then hybrid. You can keep, like as I mentioned about 3 to 1 strategy, right? So the copy of data is going to be there in your on premises, as well as it is going to be there in your cloud also. where actually if something went wrong with your on-premises data center, the whole data center is down, there would be fire into the data center, right? Then also you can get your data back from the cloud. Now again, it totally depends on the project. It totally depends on the customer. It totally depends on the management that what solution they are giving to the customer. Okay. And whatever the customer has asked, based on that, you have to plan your strategy, right? Then you have the recovery process. Obviously, if you have the backup, then recovery should be there. Something went wrong, the data got deleted accidentally, right? Then you have to get it back. Okay. So identify the failure. This is what I mentioned, guys. See, if only folder gets deleted, if any file got deleted, I'm not going to restore the whole system. That is why you can see identify the failure. What kind of failure it is, right? Then my recovery plan, how I'm going to recover. Okay, I have to, notify my stakeholders that such data got deleted and I'm just going to recover it and the data would be available in 1 hour or 2 hours, right? And then locate the right backup where actually you have kept the location, right? You kept the backup and from there you're going to restore it and then restore the file and then validate it. Either you can validate it from your internal users or you can ask your customer to check whether your data is available or not after the recovery. And then if everything is down, you can document it and you can make it use for other persons also of for your team that if such cases, if such scenario, if any other person is facing, then they can just go to that particular document and they can take the same solution which you took, right? Then the best practice. Automate backup. Never rely on the manual process. As Daniel mentioned initially, right? That do I need to take the backup manually or how it can be done? So always, guys, you should create a schedule so that automatically the schedule that you have defined based on that, the backup job would be a hit and it is going to take the backup. Huh. If there would be any scenario where actually you have to just take the backup, um, uh, for example, I'm doing something, right? So if let's say I have started the work and I know it is critical, then I'm not going to wait for the schedule. I'm going to take the backup then itself. And I'll be in a situation if let's say something went down, still I will be able to recover the whole file or folders.
So this best practices would be applicable also for Linux automation as well as Citrix
Anything,
backup.
anything.
Okay.
I'm just talking about backup. Even if you're taking a Mac backup or you're taking Linux backup or Windows, it is going to be applicable for all those. Then test backup regularly. Guys, see, we used to have a housekeeping activity, you can say. What does it mean? I took the backup, right? So randomly, I'm going to get the query or the ticket from the customer that, hey, check the backup recovery for these two host machines. That whether the recovery is getting done or not. They took the solution, but still that solution is working for them or not. So we should maintain a habit that we should test it. We should not wait for the customer also, right? So even you can just make your own process that every within 10 days, you are just going to restore any one or two host machines so that you will be able to see whether your backup or your recovery is working fine or not. Okay, encrypt backups. Always you should encrypt the backups. So you can encrypt, if I'm talking about Windows, then obviously you can encrypt it using the BitLocker. Keep multiple version. That is what I mentioned. You can maintain the multiple version like version 1, version 2, 3, 4, and so on. Then document your DRP, disaster recovery plan. Then monitor backup jobs. There would be multiple third party tools that you can integrate with your backup tool. Even backup tool can do by their own, but if let's say you want to integrate any third party tool, like in my example, what we did, we integrated our Datadog. So Datadog is a tool through where it is going to just maintain it is going to check the all events, or it is going to store the all events which are happening in the whole infrastructure.
So PRDG as well? PRDG.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you, sir.
Then follow mention policies. So obviously, guys, it is not a joke, right? If you are working in a real-time company, then data is always crucial for any of the organization. So you should not take it in either way, right? You should follow the policy. You should follow the document which are being made during the project or after the project also, right? And then obviously, if you're already trained with the product, you know what to do, how to do, then you should train your fellows also so that they will also be aware of that in such cases, how you are going to troubleshoot the things, right? Then you have backup a copy of it. These are the key takeaways, guys. You can just again whatever I have explained, right? So these are some points, takeaways, basically backup, then RTO, RPO, then recovery, then storage, and then rule and testing. So based on all these things, you will be very handy with the backups, and you will be able to manage the backup actually, right? Now let's do a small lab. I'll not take much time, guys, right? Because theory, it mostly, if you are able to understand the concept, then again, guys, configuration will not take much time. All right. So for now, we can talk about Windows internal backup option. For that, Windows Server OS has the feature that can be installed in the server, and it can start taking the backup of your server into your storage or into any other file server, basically. Wherever you want, you can just define the location and you can start taking the backup of the server. But before that, we have to install that feature. And to perform that activity, see, I am into this Veeam server. I'm making this server, and even I'll show you that how the Veeam server is going to work and how it can be made. For now, I am configuring Windows internal backup on a primary domain controller. Now, what is primary domain controller? If you are already aware of, well and good. If not, no need to worry about. We are going to have a dedicated lecture onto the domain controllers. So over there, I will explain. So you can, for now, you can just assume it is a server operating system with Active Directory, AD, on-premises Active Directory. Okay. And I'm turning on this machine also. Why this machine? Because I am going to store the backup into this machine. The backup of this virtual machine, I mean the backup of this primary domain controller, I'm going to store it on a different server or on a different machine, basically, you can say. I don't have a dedicated hardwares for now, so that is why I can't show you, because in real time, obviously, guys, you are not going to store it in the same server. You are going to store it on a different hardware. Okay. So for now, as of now, I don't have a different hardware. So that is why I'm keeping it in the different virtual machine. All right. And let's connect it. Now, how to use Hyper-V, how to install Hyper-V? No need to worry. What is virtualization? No need to worry. I'll be explaining it in the regular classes, okay? So this is my domain controller with the domain name local.com. All right. So in this machine, I'm going to, install the Windows Server Backup option, as well as in this machine, I'm going to create one folder where actually I'm going to keep the backup of that machine.
Sir, are they virtual or real, sir?
These are virtual machines for now. Okay.
Okay, sir.
This hardware on which Hyper-V is installed, it is hardware actually. And in this hardware, what I did, I installed Windows Server 2022, and inside the 2022, I enabled Hyper-V, and inside this Hyper-V, I am running these much virtual machines. Okay.
Mm.
For others, guys, if you're not able to understand it, that how this virtualization works and all, so no need to worry, right? I will explain it. Okay. So let's go to server one. So this is the console of a server 2025 OS, guys. So we are going to cover server 2025 only. It is the latest version of the Windows Server operating system, right? Now, how to make this virtual machine, how to get the image of Windows Server 25. Again, no need to worry.
So I have a question, sir, while it's loading, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So I've noticed every time when we also in the lab session before when I was working with networkings or doing myself, I've noticed always there's a red color marking always as even as a fresher, it always flashes up. Is it normal?
That's normal. No worries.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, why is it always flashing up?
No. It is normal only. No worries.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. So add roles and features. See, Windows Server Backup, it is there in the operating system itself. I mean, server operating system itself. So you need not to pay any extra cost, right? But if you are going with the third party, then based on the host machines or based on the machines that you want to take the backup, you have to take the license for it. If let's say I have 100 servers, right? So I have to procure 100 licenses for it, and I need to pay that amount to the vendor. Okay. Next, 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 and yes, go next. Under features, I'll get that option. Windows Server Backup, right? Install it. Next, you can click on restart if needed, and then install. Okay. And before that, let me create some file or folder also, guys, so that I will be able to show you the recovery as well. Okay. So today we are talking about on-premises backup, and tomorrow we'll talk about cloud backup. Okay. Let me create a new folder, and I will name it as data. And inside this folder, I'll create some files. Okay. One is this bitmap image, and then one is this text document. Okay. Yeah. So close. And meanwhile, guys, so if I want to take the backup on a different machine, then obviously I have to make sure that machine, this server one should be able to communicate with the other machine where actually I want to keep my backup. Okay. So for that reason, I am going to keep this server 3 also in the same network, right? So I'll go to server 3, and then my PDC, I mean my server 1 is running with class C network, guys, and I'm going to keep the same network for this machine also.
You mean the same network address or subnet masking, everything similar? I
Exactly.
mean, subnet
Everything is
mask.
going to be, yeah. Everything is going to be remain same.
Only the IP address will be different, I mean. But
Obviously,
the
yeah.
subnet mask will be the same. Sorry,
Yeah,
sir.
same name,
Okay.
same. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, even I think in the checkpoint also, even I have kept the same thing. Okay. Anyways, we are good with it. Okay. 1.2. So 1.1, the IP, server 1 is having IP of 1.1, and then this machine is having IP of 1.2. Fine, no problem. Now, I will create one folder here. though it is not recommended that we should keep the backup in the operating system drive. Okay, it should be on a different drive, guys. But okay, anyways, for now I'm just creating the folder into the C drive itself. I will make it as backup.
But sir, just a good to know information. C drive is a no-go for us, right, sir? Because that's a hard drive.
Exactly. Correct. Even it is an operating system drive, no? So if let's say the
Yeah,
operating system drive crashed, then so our backup also
everything
will
is
be
gone.
crashed.
Yes. You
Exactly,
mean
exactly.
any other alphabetical drive except for the C drive, correct, sir?
Exactly. Yes.
It could be NAS as well.
Yeah.
NAS. Okay, good. Thank you, sir.
Okay, backup server is fine, or okay, backup. Okay, I'll keep this one. And inside this backup, let's say I'm going to take the backup of the PDC machine. So I will create one more folder with the name PDC. That is how you can create the structure of your folders. And you can keep the backup of the dedicated server into the dedicated folder only. All right. So this folder, I'm going to make this folder as a shared folder. I'll go to the folder. Okay, what happened?
So if you could enlarge it, so it's too small, sir.
Okay,
Sorry, sir.
wait. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Hey, why it got hidden here? Mm, okay, I'll create it again. Folder, I'll name it as PDC. And okay, you want me to zoom it? How I can do that? Did they? Nahi. How about now? Is it fine?
Good, sir.
Okay, so I'll make this folder as a shared folder. Go to the sharing and then go to advanced sharing and then share this folder. And then permissions for now, I'll give full control to everyone. But later on, guys, once we'll start our topics, right, then we can restrict the particular group or a particular user also. Okay. Apply. Okay. So this is the network path, guys. Server 3 have / backup and then close it. Now let's minimize and go back to server 1. So this it got installed. Now close it and then go to tools, then go to Windows Server Backup. This would be the console, guys, for Windows Server Backup actually. Okay. Now go to this local backup. Now we need to create the schedule, right? Either you can select backup once. In that case, you need not to wait for the schedule. Okay. Or if you want automatic job, then in that case, obviously you have to define the schedule. So based on that schedule, automatically it is going to start taking backup of your data. All right. So you can see no backup has been configured for this computer. Okay. And here you can see backup schedule or backup ones. So first of all, I'll show you that how schedule can be configured. So I'll select backup schedule. Then go next. Now, full server or custom. Okay. As I mentioned, initially we should go with the full server. If you want to go with the custom, then in that case, select custom, and then you can select whether you want to take the backup. You can select add items, and you can select whether you want to take the backup of the C drive, or let's say I have another drives also. So I can I can select those drives and I can start taking the backup. Okay. But initially I'll go with the full backup. So I'll select full server and then go next. And now once a day or more than once a day. Once a day means select the time day 9 p.m. Daily 9 p.m. it is going to run the job of the backup, and the backup would be it will start going to take backup of your data. But if let's say I want to run the backup job once a day, I mean, I want to run the backup at 9 p.m. also, I want to run the backup at 11 p.m. also, and I want to run the backup at 3 a.m. also, I can define it. So first, the backup job will be run at 3 a.m. and after that 9 p.m. and after that 11 p.m. That can be defined, right? Now go next. Now the destination, where you want to store the backup. Backup to a hard disk that is dedicated for backups recommended. Yeah? If let's say I'm going to have a dedicated hard disk, like I talked about external USB disk, right? So you can select those. Backup to a volume, right? You have a volume which is there, which is kept for like file servers you have. You can select, you can give the volume over there. And then if you have a shared folder, you have a network shared folder, which is we did now. What we did, we created a shared folder into any other server or into any other machine. So onto that machine, I'm going to take the full backup actually. Okay. So I'll go with backup to a shared network folder, right? Then go next. Then okay. It is basically asking that you should have a access, or when you will use a remote shared folder, the storage destination for schedule backup. Each backup will erase the previous backup and only the latest backup will be available. Okay, no problem. So in case of shared, guys, it is going to erase the previous backup and it is going to take the latest backup actually. Now, location. I have to define that network location. So in my case, it is // sorry. Actually, I'm using German keyboard. Yeah, now it's fine. So // and give the name. So server 3. What was the name? Server -3 or server 3? Let me check. Yeah, it's server -3. Fine. So I'll go back. Server -3 slash backup. Okay. And if you want to just specify the particular folder also, even it will create the folder automatically, host name folder automatically. So what we can do, we can delete it. Yeah, we
So
can
the
delete it. It will automatically create the host name folder. Yes.
so the double slash before the server when you were giving those pathways is
Huh.
actually the network pathway, right? The two double
Correct.
slash before the server.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
If this question comes in a job interview, we can say that that is correct, right, sir?
Yes, it's a
It's a
network
network
path.
pathway.
Yes. Yes. It's a
It's a root
shared path
network
actually.
pathway.
Shared
It,
path.
it, can I say it's a shared network root pathway? Is that correct definition? Oh
Root
no.
is something else, right? So you can say for now it's a shared network path.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Then it's fine. Then go next. And now it is asking the permission to store the backup into any other machine. Okay. So for that reason, I'm defining the administrator have the full privileges, guys, right? So that is why I'm giving the credential of the administrator. Yeah, now it's fine. You can see for full backup, everything system state backup it is taking, right? And then finish. Now the backup schedule is created at the given point of time, right? It will start taking backup of your data. But now let's say I don't want to wait for the schedule. Then in that case, I will select backup once. And now even I'll show you that after the full backup, how incremental backup can be configured. Okay. Yeah, it's done. You can close it. Right. Now I want to take the backup now only. So I'll select backup once. And now, what option I want to use? Do I need to use the schedule backup option, or I'm going to use a different option? What does it mean? That whatever the things I have defined in the schedule, automatically it will inherit all those options, all those configurations. I mean, I need know to select the path where I want to, the destination path where I want to take the backup, right? The full backup or I mean the full backup or bare metal backup or the D drive backup. So I need know to select anything if I'll go with the schedule backup option. But if I'll go with a different option, then whatever I have configured in the schedule option, again, it is going to ask me all those things, whether I want to take the full server backup or the custom, right? Then if I'll go next, it is going to ask me for that location. Then if I'll go next, it is going to ask me again the network path and then the confirmation and everything. This is if I'll go with the second option. But if I'll go with the first, I mean the schedule one, then I'll select it. It is not going to ask me anything, and it is just going to be giving me the option to start taking the backup. Now, again, it is your choice how you want to go. Okay, so I'm just going with the schedule option, then backup. Now, it started the backup job.
Timeline, sir. Backup.
It will show you. Once it is going to analyze, it will let you know that how long it is going to take the backup. Okay.
Just one quick question. So
Yeah,
let's say if you are like here in this scenario, Sandeep, you are taking the backup in the same network, right?
correct.
Um, let's say if that network is compromised, so then whatever we are doing will go into the bin pretty much, right?
Hmm.
So in that case, the ideal scenario should be that we are taking the backup in the two different network. I mean, I assume the routing is there, but that should be the ideal scenario, right? I mean, like this is like good for explaining, but in real time, we prefer two different network for the backup, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Correct. That is why I talked about the failover cluster. In case of failover cluster, the file servers are going to be on two different networks, network A,
Okay,
network
okay.
B. So that if A would be down, automatically the traffic would be transferred to the network B. Okay.
So then if I have made the routing, so then how, like, so if I have done the routing, so when you are giving the folder path in the destination server, so when you put the forward slash, so that path will come by itself, even though it's in the different network.
Yes, itself it will come.
Okay, okay,
Whatever the
because that's the
network,
part of the routing. Okay, yeah,
correct, correct, correct.
yeah, okay, got it.
Ultimately, if
Thank
you're
you,
able
thank you.
to ping it and if you're able to get, see,
Yeah,
if I'll go to this start button and if I'll try to access that path, I'll show you how it is going to be verified. Okay, so I'll go to run and then I'll type slash slash, okay, slash slash server hyphen 3 slash backup. Yeah, you can see here backup, right? I can
yeah,
select it and then
okay,
okay. And you can see the
yeah,
path, right? This is how you will be
yeah,
able to reach. And you can see Windows Image Backup, it created the folder as well as inside this folder, you will be able to see the host name, which is PDC. And inside this folder, you will be able to see all the file and data. Okay.
yep. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my humble question, sir. My question is, so what do you call that thing? Oh, the question was regarding those backup thing that you just told us. Okay, it slipped out of my mind. It comes back again. I will ask you. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Just recall it and let me know. Yep. Okay, let me just go through the chat. There are multiple questions. I have seen few organizations, they make use of tape, right? What are those? Is it out? Sagar, yes, I already answered it. Till when we'll be able to get the recorded video? Shikha, you will be able to get it tomorrow, first half. Okay?
So I got the question in my mind, sir, now.
Yeah, yeah, good.
So regarding those routing information which you have been telling
Huh,
today, you will
huh,
show
huh,
us later on. It's just my
hmm.
humble request, sir, as during for the maintenance of the server, or whether it be during for the backup thing, It's just my humble request. Could you also, as we go deep dive, could you also show us how, as admin or engineers, can we do the routing table of the configuration if we have to segment or certain during the patch day or during server we have to back up? How do we do those routing as an example? Could you show us, how can we do it from a Hyper-V environment to a VMware? Like some of them is located on Hyper-V, some of them is located on VMware. Hypothetical situation where we are working in such hybrid environments where the company is using both of them platforms and they are on
Hmm.
different IP addresses. In the as we in the future, as we go deep dive, if you could just give us a hypothetical situation, how can we do those routing table magic so that that you are
Yeah, I
more
got.
experienced?
Yeah, yeah. That see, first of all, um, it is not our job to do it, right? Network engineers are going to manage all those things. Okay.
Uh-huh, okay. Okay.
But yes, if you want on Hyper-V, I can show you that how we can take how we can make the routing tables and how we will be able to make the communication of two different networks or different
Yes.
multiple networks. That is also we can perform.
Because sometimes we have picket service. So I don't know if that's the
Mm-hmm.
right technical word, because I come in a
Mm-hmm.
German environment, country and platform, and they use picket service. That is, you it can be that sometimes you are the one man army to solve any disaster thing or any, god forbid, any backup thing. And if we know that the network engineer is having a Bahama holidays or something and tells us, on a remote way, hey, you know what, just do this thing routing table, and gives us the superficial whatever. So just to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that we understand the base fundamental line, if the network engineer says us like, hey, give us the lingo, go and just change this IP, at least you could show us a platform and tools. So in the future, if we have such god forbid situations, we will remember your advice, sir.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. See, even I'm not a network engineer. I can't, go very deep into it, right?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
what I can show you is with the
Hmm.
help of Hyper-V, all right, or with the
Yes, sir.
help of Windows Server, how we can make the routing tables or how we can make the routing possible between two different networks. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
and the PowerShell you're going to be showing us only on the on-prem scenario. Also, you will be showing us the Azure PowerShell, sir, because there are two
No, no,
PowerShells.
it would be on-prem only.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
But I
So
think
Okay.
both of
So
the
them will work the same, right? Same
yeah, yeah,
commands are the same.
commands would be same. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, thank
so
Yeah.
this backup is of OS, right? Windows Server.
Yes, it's a Windows Server OS
And
backup. Yep.
also the files which are stored on the other drive.
No, no, it is only storing the backup of this particular server
System, yeah.
on the
Okay.
location you have defined.
Everything.
Yes, yes, yes,
So
everything.
then recovery will be how, sir?
Okay,
Like
now I'll show you
click.
recovery. Just yeah, yeah, just wait.
Okay,
I'll show
sir.
you recovery. Yeah. So guys, for now you can see backup is done. Description you can see successful. Right now, the file got deleted accidentally. Right. That is why I have created that folder into the C drive. Right. Data, and for example, this image one got deleted. Right now, how I can get it back? So for that, again, we have the recovery option. You can see recover, right? So select recover, and then where you kept your backup. Now it is asking where you kept the backup. So where's the backup? Even you can see where's the backup stored. So it is stored on another location. So I select a backup stored on the another location. Now go next. Now local drive or remote shared folder. Now our backup is on a remote shared folder. Go next. Now you have to define the destination path where you kept your backup. So I'll define // server hyphen 3 / backup and then go next. Now backup date, guys. It might possible you want to recover the file from 1st June, right? Now based on the date from where you want to recover the file, you have to select that particular date and then you can start recovering your data. But as of now, you know that we haven't took backup on 1st and 2nd. That is why you can see a highlighted mark on 3 and you can see that we took backup at 10:21 a.m. Likewise, if on the same date I took backup thrice or 4 times, then I can go to this drop down and I can select the time. So for example, 10:20, but again, the next backup was created on 11:30, for example, after maybe 1 hour, right? After 1 hour. And I want to recover the file of that particular 11:30 time, right? So in that case, I have to select that 11:30 and then I will be able to recover it. Okay. So for now, only 10:21 is visible because we only took backup once. So that is why only 10:21 is visible. So I'll select it, then go next. Now, what do you want to recover? The file and folder, the volume, the application, or the whole system state? Okay. So for example, guys, volume, if I'm selecting. So in case of volume, it will show me, uh, hey, why it is giving it? Okay, let me select okay now. We'll go with system state. System state it is giving me. Why it is not giving this one here? Okay, maybe I'll look into this later on. Because see, guys, if I'll select the volume, it will show me the C drive or E drive, whatever drives would be there. It will show me that option. Okay, maybe I'll check it and we'll get back on it. Now, application. For example, there are some applications installed. Like in this server, I have installed Active Directory AD. I want to recover my Active Directory. I want to recover the whole registry. Right? I can select it. In case of system state, what it will do, it is going to do the bare metal recovery. Everything, be it a C drive, D drive, E drive, whatever data I have kept during the backup, it is going to recover all system state. Okay. But now, as you know, only some file got deleted. So I'll go with the file and folders. Now go next. Now you can, this is the available item, guys, which is there in your backup folder. So you can expand PDC and you can expand C drive. And now you can select the folder from where actually the data got deleted. You can select the data, expand it, and now you can see image file, right? So this file got deleted from the location. So I'll select this file and then go next. Now, where you want to recover? Another location. So I'll go with create copy. No, I don't want to create the copy. I'll go with the overwrite existing, and the location you can select browse, or I want to recover it in the C drive and in the data folder, and then okay. Okay. And then go next and then select recover. Completed. For now, guys, it didn't took much time. Why? Because the data was not huge, right? So that is why it got completed, and then close it. And now you can see file recovery also was successful, and the backup also, guys, you can see obviously backup was earlier created and it was successfully done. And then same way, the file recovery, which is happened on 10:32, right? And it is also recovered successfully. And now if you want to verify, you will be able to get your file into that data folder. Here it is. So this is how you're going to recover your files and folder. Now, one example also I can show you if you want to recover the whole system state. Okay. But guys, for whole system state, this server is a AD server. This server is a Active Directory server, right? So directly we can't, you know, restore the AD server. For that, we have to go to the DSRM mode, Directory Services Restore mode. What it is, don't worry, I will explain it during our Active Directory topic. But for your understanding, if I'm going with the whole system recovery, Windows Server Backup, I'll select recover again. and backup stored on a different location, next, and then the remote shared folder, next, and I'll define the network path // server hyphen 3 slash backup, next, and again at the same time, guys, 1021, next. I'll go with the system state. Now, see, guys, I'm going to get the error. See, original location, next. See, the backup contains Active Directory, which can be recovered only when the computer is started in the DSRM mode. Because why I'm doing it, guys? Because once we'll create the domain controller, it is going to ask us for the DSRM passwords and all. So that is why initially only I'm telling you that why this DSRM is needed, right? So DSRM is an account. By using it, you will be able to recover your Active Directory. You will be able to recover your domain controller. Okay, so now how to run this server from the DSRM mode? For that, I need to go to run, right? And then go to msconfig.
So
And then go
something
to
like
boot.
bootable.
Yeah, correct. Go to boot
Okay.
and then under safe boot, select Active Directory repair and then apply and then OK. And then it is going to ask you for a reboot. And after the restart, then you will be able to recover the whole system, guys, right? So this is only in case of domain controller. If it is going to be a normal server, then it is not going to ask you to start it from the DSRM mode. Okay, just for the domain controller, if you want to recover your DC, right, or the Active Directory which is running in your DC, then in that case only you have to go to msconfig and you have to start it from the Active Directory repair mode.
So I have
And
a question,
now,
sir.
yeah,
So I had a scenario, so in my previous companies where I worked, where the one of the normal servers, it was being long not used at all. It was not touched, and it was in
mm,
hibernation mode. And we had to go to the server room and to make
mm,
sure that those servers we had to take it off because the old management team has moved on, signed off, and moved
mm,
on. We were the new
mm,
management team guys and girls. So what happened was that we were not sure. I mean, me and a couple of my other engineer admin guys, we were not sure of whether we can plug it off. It was like in a dusty state, so it was like 2 years nobody has touched that server, and it was a normal server. It was not a PDC or something, sir. So in that kind of a scenario, what would you suggest, sir? What are the protocols that we should be careful, sir? I just want to know. Though they should resolve the issue, the senior system engineers, but I don't know what they did at the back end, sir. So what would you
mhm.
suggest us, sir?
So it depends. Obviously, you have to check whether the backup is there or not. If let's say you're able to start it, then obviously you have to power it on first of all, right? You have to see the condition, whether you are able to see it on the screen, you're able to access it or not. So if it is not accessible, then obviously you have to go with the backup. You have to recover the whole server, and then
Mhm.
whatever the data was there in the server, you will be able to get it back, and then you can make it in the production.
So, would you suggest us, as a SOS Mayday situation, would you suggest us that before the backup is done, if we go in the server room and we just because it was in an hibernation mode because we were trying to switch it on, I mean get it
Hmm.
back on track. Would you
Hmm.
suggest us to do that, or would you suggest us better back it off and then go for the getting it back on live mode in
Obviously, back
hibernation?
it off. You should back it up, right? Because
Uh-huh.
if let's say during if you're starting it, right? So if it is very old, right? So in
Yes, sir.
such case, might be there is any failure, then there would be any hardware failure, right? So
Hmm.
obviously, you have the data backup there, then at least you will be able to get the data back, right?
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So
Thank you.
this bootable, what you have done, we can set it on pen drive.
What this DSRM?
Yes, the bootable, sir. But to recover all this, sir, we'll have to install first Windows Server and then click all this option and then recover
Exactly.
now.
Correct.
But
Correct.
there is no other way like Acronis and all. They have this recover.
They have their
Bootable
bootable
media.
media. Yeah, they have their
Yeah,
bootable media. Correct. Correct. VMware, Acronis,
yes.
they have their bootable media, and then
So
you can.
Windows is always, sir. Personally, I never rely on Windows, sir. It was
Even
always
initially,
expensive.
correct. Even initially, I told right. So mostly companies are working with the third-party tools, right?
Always it
Yeah.
fails, sir. Always.
No, you can't say it like that. That always it fails. Even I used during my starting career days, right? So I was working in
Uh,
the Windows Server backup itself. So I haven't faced such issues in the Windows Server. But yes, after that, when I switched it off, my switched company, right? So then I started working on the third-party tools, and then
Say
I
for instance, sir,
found it more fascinating. Yeah,
uh, say for instance, I have 2019 Windows Server, and then we upgraded to 2025.
correct.
Then it will be a problem, no, sir?
2019 to 2025
Hmm.
upgradation. Why there is a problem?
Just data OS will
No,
be
no, you will be able to get your all the data back whenever you are going to upgrade it. We will have that topic. Don't worry. Okay,
okay, sir.
let's not yeah talk about that. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so a backup shared on network location again. Go next. Remote shared folder. Go next, and then I'll define the path server hyphen 3 slash backup, and now this time I will be able to recover my whole server. Okay, 1021 next, and then system state is fine next, and then the original location. Now next, see guys, earlier I was getting the error. Now okay, no problem. Okay, and then start recovering it. Acha, one more thing you can do, automatically reboot the server once the recovery is done, and then select recover.
So the backup is done once a day, or it depends upon the company if they want 3 times or 5 times a day. So
It totally depends on the company. Yep,
okay.
how they want to go. Yes. All right, guys. So now it is going to recover. It might take 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So again, this is just a process that I just want to show you that the whole system also can be recovered, and the file and folder also can be recovered. Even the volume also can be recovered. I don't know why it was not showing me, but anyways, so it is going to be visible. Don't worry about it. So maybe if I'll create one more drive, then it will show me that option.
don't
But
have
ultimately, we can do
volumes.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Volume, yes. Okay, so for now, I'm just canceling it. Okay, so I
Well,
just want to show
uh,
you one more option. Yes, please.
yeah, in here I have a question. For
Yeah, go ahead.
example, we talk a backup from server once. This
Hmm,
server domain controller on the server -3. Yeah, uh, I mean when complete this server is going to down. For example,
hmm,
domain controller one, server one is completely down, and we
hmm,
already have backup on server 3. Yeah,
hmm.
and through the server tree, we cannot create completely this server just as a virtual server, yeah, on Hyper-V.
Correct,
We
correct.
cannot create the complete whole server on Hyper-V or not through
We can do that.
the backup.
We can convert the whole backup into the Hyper-V virtual machine, and then we can create a new VM, and we can mount the hard disk into it, and then we will be able to get our domain controller back.
Okay, it doesn't need to install operating system or not.
Yeah, everything will be able to get within the operating system also, or whatever the configuration has been made onto that operating system. Everything will be able to get it back into a new virtual machine.
Okay, and the new virtual machine, yeah?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
No problem. So once I will cancel it, guys, so you can see configure performance setting. If I'll select this option, it will give me the option whether I want to next backup, whether I want to go with the full or I want to go with the incremental. Okay. So for now, I'm not able to cancel it. There is a PowerShell command here. For just a second. What was that? WB admin. Give me a moment. PowerShell. Actually, it is getting recovered now, so that is why bit slow. Okay, anyway, just for your knowledge, guys, right? You need to go to this performance setting option, And here you will get the option to configure the incremental backup for your next backup job. And from then onwards, it will start taking backup of the incremental changes only. I mean, the changes being made from your last backup, it will start taking backup of those changes only. So this is all about on-premises backup with Windows Server.
Sandeep?
Am I clear to everyone? Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Sandeep,
yeah,
so just a question. So we are getting this recording, right? After this session, we want to revise and
exactly,
okay.
exactly. So by
Because
tomorrow,
this
first half, you will be able to get it, get the
by
recording.
tomorrow, can we
Yeah.
get early? Because like I'm in Canada daytime, so I
Eh,
can do like just revise in a day. Like obviously it's gonna be day and night if
Okay,
it's
so
possible.
guys, okay, guys, so maybe for everyone, right? I'm not the one who's handling the recordings and all. So it is being managed by the networking team only, their backend team only. So I don't have the rights even to upload as well as to manage these recordings. So this is their job. And as you know, it's night in India, and they'll be to uploading your videos by tomorrow first half
So
in the
I'm in
morning.
Europe, sir. I also need the video, sir, as soon as possible, sir.
Yeah, yeah, correct. So it is not in my hand. So they guys are going to manage all these recordings, uploading, and everything. Okay. Yeah. Anything else I can help you with before we wrap up?
So what about the practice sessions for this?
This is just a demo class. Don't worry. I'll share some assignments with you all.
Right, because this is the first time we just like practically I'm just looking into the server,
Hmm.
how to
Yeah.
back up the server from one to another. Yeah,
No worries, Amrit. So as I mentioned, it's just a demo session, right? So even I'll
So the
explain everything, what is server, how it is, how you're going to manage the servers, how server works, right? How configurations can be made. So don't worry about it.
so the lab session that we will get from Network Kings, that will be VMware or that will be Hyper-V?
Hyper-V.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it would be beneficial if there were also VMware, so we could get the hang of both the platforms, sir.
See, earlier VMware was there, right? But now it is now managed by the Broadcom, right? So now they have stopped the trial version also. So VMware we
Oh,
don't have, so you can use the Hyper-V only. Yep.
okay, sir.
All right, guys. So let's wrap up for today. Thanks for joining this session. I would highly recommend if you can just give your feedbacks on the session. And tomorrow we'll be talking about the cloud backup and registering your on-premises server to the cloud also. Okay. So thank you, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Good night.
Thank you. Good night, sir. Good night, everyone.
Thank you so much.
thank you.